group. And it's Suzanne from Power. Hobbies include running up to and including 10-mile runs at the crack of New Year's. She loves travel. Those of you that have yet to know her a little more, you'll be hearing about it over time. And exploring, which it'll never be done. There's so much to do, isn't there? She's a director of marketing and merchandising at Zensa Compression Apparel. She's been there for 5 years, so she's very good at what she does. They love having her there, and why not? So do we. She's going to do her competent communicator speech number 10. That's a milestone. She's working out of the competent communicator manual. The objective of the speech is to inspire the audience by appealing to noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of belief or achievement. The speech time is between 8 and 10 minutes. The title is Where the Magic Happens. Please welcome the illustrious Suzanne Cabral.
Does anyone in here believe in magic? Oh, there's more hands than I expected. Usually when I tell people that I believe in magic, they look at me with a crazy face. Because the thing is, I really believe in magic. But I'm not talking about wands, brooms, and cast a spell on you type of magic. What I'm referring to is that intangible, tingly, something in the air feeling when you know there's amazing things happening around you. I believe magic lives within all of us, but you can't expect it to just happen. To find magic, you truly have to step outside of your comfort zone. So what is your comfort zone? Well, psychologists call it a state in which a person feels at ease, familiar, in control, without stress or anxiety. Maybe your comfort zone is that job that you've stayed at for a little bit longer than you expected, or the relationship that you haven't taken the next step in. Maybe it's that dream that has lived deep down in your bones for as long as you can remember, but you've been scared to take action on it for fear of failure. Growing up, I was a good student, I excelled at sports, overall a great kid. But I also remember in my childhood that I was very shy, reserved, and sometimes complacent in my routine. A few years ago though, something shifted within me. My perspective changed. And I realized that when I step out of my comfort zone, I'm a much happier person. In those situations, I usually hated myself, couldn't wait for them to be over. But once I overcame those challenging moments, I was a much better person for it. About a year and a half ago, I decided to take on my biggest challenge, joining all of you in Toastmasters. I was panic attack scared of speaking in public. Really, I don't know what compelled me, but I had to conquer this big fear of mine. 10 speeches later, and a lot of awesome friends, that big giant fear I once had has become maybe this small. Most importantly though, aside from overcoming my fear of speaking in public, is that I found a confidence in myself that I never even imagined could exist. That to me is magic. And for that, I want to thank each and every one of you here today. But that's not the happy ending to this story. Sorry to break it to you, but just because you challenge yourself once doesn't mean you're done. Actually, what's tough about this is that you constantly have to be challenging yourself. And I'm not going to tell you it gets easier, but you do get stronger. According to Dr. Elizabeth Lombardo, who's a therapist and wrote, I can't remember the name of the book anymore, but she says that when people constantly seek out fresh experiences, they're more creative, emotionally resilient, and a lot stronger than people who tend to stick to the regular routine. My next big challenge is a big one. I'm very scared of it. But my confidence outweighs the fear because I know it's the right decision for me at this point in my life. In 40 days, this little backpack right here will become my new permanent home. Last month, my husband and I quit our jobs so we can go travel the world for a year. Yes, a year. I'm still in shock. Throughout my life, I've encountered people who took this leap. They left the familiarity and comfort of their regular lives to travel long term. And every time I would meet one of these people, a little spark would go off inside me, and I'd think to myself, I hope I can do that one day. But it was just a whisper. I kept the dream close to my heart, occasionally sharing it with friends and family, but never truly believing it could happen. Because like everybody else, everyday life takes over and we settle into the conformity of things. I have a job that I love. I've been there for 5 years. Can I leave it? I own an apartment. Can I afford it? I see my mom 4 days a week. Can I go a year without seeing her? These are valid fears and concerns. But with my newly found confidence, I managed to take the what ifs and maybes and let them evaporate. I realized that if I don't make this decision now, it's now or never. So I convinced myself, but I also had to convince my husband that this was the right decision for us to take. In this case, I used traditional marital negotiation skills, not what you're thinking. I said to him, we're going traveling for a year or we're having a baby. We do eventually want to have a family, but right now, the call for adventure won. So now what happens? Well, we decided that we had to book our flight because that's the first step and made it official. After that, we started researching the proper gear, finding someone to rent our apartment, getting visas, renewing passports, forwarding mail, and the list goes on. The amount of preparation that takes for a trip that I don't even have planned is incredible. But what I do know is that on February 4th, I arrive in Colombo, Sri Lanka, and from there, we'll see what happens. Eventually, I'm sure we'll go to India, Nepal, Southeast Asia, but that's months away. We want to volunteer, we want to immerse ourselves in the culture, we want to try the local foods, and I'm really excited about all of that. But most importantly, this is more than just a long-term vacation. This is an opportunity to take myself out of my comfort zone and challenge myself for a year. To shock my mindset, to live outside the boundaries of what I've been used to all my life, to step into the magic zone. So hopefully by now, you're all wondering what your big dream and challenge is going to be for 2016. The amazing thing about all of this is that everybody's dream and comfort zone is unique. You don't have to quit your job and go travel the world.